you want to demonstrate to the world, let alone your target audiences, that other people are talking about you. Other people are ecstatic about what you do, about the investment opportunity, about the growth of the organization. Hello, how is everyone doing today on this beautiful March morning, PST time morning? Excited to be with you for our monthly webinar, Boost Your Campaign with Smart Outreach. We're going to be talking about influencers. We're going to be talking about publishers, strategic partners, investors. Trying to get my hand count higher and higher here, making it more visual. This is my favorite piece of content to produce throughout the month. And joined here with Janette Cornish, one of our account managers, campaign strategists, to go in depth about what we see working and not working across our campaigns. Janette, thanks for joining this morning.
Hey, Jason. Good morning. Good morning, everybody. Thank you so much for tuning in. Excited to be here, as Jason was saying, to dive into all things campaign, strategic outreach. Yeah, just ready to hop into it and have some fun.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Let's do it. So, our creative studio, led by Brendan, creates one of these amazing decks every month in conjunction with Khalil, our content marketing director. So we have a whole back-end process that goes into creating these. Always like to start with backgrounds, introductions. Janette, can you tell viewers more about yourself and what you do on these campaigns?
Yeah, would love to. So, as Jason mentioned, I am an account manager here at DNA. Have been here for about 2 years and have worked on dozens, maybe almost hundreds of campaigns now. So, definitely well versed working with founders, CEOs to get their messaging correct, get it out to the right audiences as we look to raise funds for their equity crowdfunding campaign. So worked with, different levels from, very grassroots to companies that are already profitable. So definitely depending on messaging or audiences, are able to kind of pivot and make it work from there.
And Jeanette is being modest. She is one of the best in the industry at it. Is able to look at brands of all sizes, as she mentioned, everything from startups with no audience to publicly traded companies that are doing more CEO branding and driving investor audiences to more information around their stock. Jeanette's worked on some of the top campaigns of 2023 and other time periods as well. So that's where all of this information, that's where the background comes from. That is the foundation of today's insights.
Thank you,
So,
Jason.
and of course, of course. And for those of you not familiar with DNA, we've worked on over 400 investor marketing campaigns, over 800 clients to date. We define what we do as investor and user acquisition, but find fundraising to be a common theme among growth stage companies, and want to make sure we're putting the resources out there. We started the year with our 2023 recap, talked about the 10% of issuers on regulation crowdfunding that are really moving, the bottom 50% that are near stagnant, and marketing as the separator in many regards. As you can see here in the top right corner, test, optimize, scale is our motto. It's the name of my podcast. Episode 150 just came out yesterday, all with different guests. Yesterday's guest of Circles, top issuer on WeFunder at the moment. And test, optimize, scale is our approach towards marketing, entrepreneurship, growth, summarized in 3 words. What is strategic outreach? Why is that an important thing to test? Janette, what is your answer? Do you want to kick off the discussion for today's content?
Yeah, of course. So strategic outreach basically is an umbrella of multiple things, right? At the end of the day, the goal in this particular instance is reaching your target audience. And through that, we are being strategic. So that's through email, that is LinkedIn, that's social media channels, That's any and everybody you know, from friends and family outreach to um, content creators and paid UGC creators, so user generated content creators. And it's just really creating messaging for each entity and then, disseminating it from there. So just really being, uh, you know, I keep on, it's strategic outreach. So being strategic in each level that you are looking to target.
Strategic in terms of the channels and the
Mhm.
messaging, the calls to action that we're reaching out to these prospects with. I also would say it's strategic in the sense that we're reaching out to organizers of groups that have large pools of your target audience. So reach out to one, if effective, distributed to many is the idea behind it. It can include social media groups, perhaps professionals, investors on LinkedIn, could be on Reddit, could be on Quora, could be on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, what have you. This could be to publishers of blogs on blog distribution platforms on their own website. They could be low level in terms of traffic and domain authority websites, mid tier publishers, journalists at the biggest public publishing conglomerates. Could be the head of an angel investor group or an accelerator or any type of entity. And I could speak about a few dozen more that consists of volumes of individual investors. So reaching out strategically using set channels to very specific people and have it broken down further here on this page. Strategic outreach encompasses various forms of reaching out to both existing audiences and new prospects. Utilizes multiple channels such as LinkedIn services, influencers, and other outlets to connect with people aligned with your offering and opportunities. If you are sharing today's information with a team member, with the whole team, have this deck available. What do you know? Same information that Janette and I just shared in our impromptu answer, but encompassing the various forms and specific audiences we're going after. Janette, anything to add to that as an overview?
I think we kind of went over everything. I know we're gonna, get a little bit more detailed as we move on. So kind of save that for now.
What about UGC, user generated content, influencers? Why is that important for, let's say, an investor marketing campaign? Don't these deals happen with investment bankers, with accredited investors? Do they really care about some kids on TikTok? What is the purpose of using UGC and influencers in an investor marketing campaign?
Yeah. So you're correct. I mean, we are going after, accredited investors, but at the end of the day, everybody from investors to, target audiences, they use these services. They use TikTok, they use Instagram, everybody's on Facebook. I know I have some friends that instead of Googling stuff, they'll say, "Oh, I just TikToked it," right? To find out information. So if you search on TikTok investments, there's going to be some information on education and letting you know about different opportunities. So times are shifting. So to have an influencer or a UGC creator, user generated content creator, talk about your offering in a different light that's maybe not from the founder directly or from somebody internal with your company, it just gives a sense of credibility. It gives a sense of social proof. And these people that are being paid to create content, they are great at what they do, so they make the information easily digestible in a way where if maybe you have a complicated offering, they're able to kind of create it for the masses to make it more understandable, and as I was mentioning, kind of a different light than maybe somebody at your team, within your team could do. So We see it across all top performing campaigns, utilizing influencers, content creators. You know, even if your company has great brand assets, great, you know, CEO stories, great selfie videos, it is still highly recommended to use influencers just because it does give a little twist. It gives, you know, it shines a different light on your offering that maybe, you know, it's not already being produced. So always highly recommended to have that aspect.
Sure, sure. It's funny you bring up the search engine component. I had a team member make fun of me my age because I used Google instead of TikTok for a search, and was told that that's where you go now, whether it's restaurants or whatever it is, and you're looking for the influencers, you're looking for nano influencers under 10,000 followers, micro 10,000 to
Mm-hmm.
100,000. Does not have to be the biggest celebrities in the world, but talking about educational information, stuff you could do around the house, places you could go around town, things that you can invest into and or purchase for yourself. And there's a line in the book Sapiens that talks about humans and why we do the things that we do that always stuck with me. The more times you hear the same information from the more sources, the more you believe it, the more credible it is. It's social proof. It's something we talk about all the time. It's what digital marketing is built off of because people don't believe what they see on the internet. So if I hear a brand talk about how great they are and how great their investment opportunity is, does not mean as much to me as if I hear others speak about how great that same business and deal really are. Uh, user influencers creating user generated content, as you're mentioning, Janette, can create high caliber activations where it still feels like social content, does not feel like something that was made, in a blockbuster studio, for a film trailer, as much as something more consistent you'd see on social media in most cases. Some of the visual graphics and things they add on top could take it to the next level, but it's quick, it's concise, it's designed for their audience to respond. That's why they're doing it. They want their audience to respond more, and they could give it to you as UGC. You could run it as your own advertising. You could run it in your own content. They could do it as an influencer post. Some of those guys have rules where they will post it for a day on the grid and then remove it, or as a story and then take it down there afterwards. Ooh, screen's loading a little slow here. But have some videos, have some examples of what this looks like. And as we could see on the page here, reemphasizing what we're saying, UGC and influencers play a pivotal role in impacting target audiences. They help in conveying messages in a digestible fashion, which is great for founders, CEOs who may not be comfortable in front of the camera. It's great for the ones that are as well too. And again, having more people talking about the brand, about the investment opportunity. This is Kevin Fulmer. Kevin was on my podcast last week. Here he is talking about Adam Bean. One of the many reasons that I invest. If you would like to join me, an investor in Adam Bean, click the link.
Kevin's great.
Join me. Yes. Janette, you were able to hear that? Audio was coming through well?
So I was just going to say, Kevin's great, but no, we could not hear the audio. It was almost in the background.
Okay.
It was very faint.
And Janette, this is one of your clients, Adam Beam.
Mm-hmm.
They did a $3 million raise that completed in July 2023, a $2 million that completed in December 2023, raised $5 million for the year, had many more people that wanted to invest and could not quick enough. They've had $3 million rounds, other rounds in the past with us as well too, and have pre-launch for their next round going. Uh, can you talk a bit about the Atom Beam campaign and why these type of activations had such a strong impact for the ads, for the content, for their marketing channels?
Yeah, definitely. So as you're saying, this is Kevin, doing a video for Atom Beam's latest raise. Atom Beam is just great at all things advertising. So working with Charles, he's the CEO founder. He's also, I know here it says who may not, a CEO who may not be comfortable in front of the camera uses influencers or UGC, but if you're familiar with Atom Beam and you've seen their stuff, you'll see Charles is not shy in front of the camera and actually does a very good job at doing um, videos and promoting the offering at hand. But that doesn't say, at the same time, he's not utilizing Kevin. So I think we kind of mentioned it. Some of the top campaigns, Adam Beam here, do use UGC and influencers to just give another side of the messaging, to give that social proof, to show different audiences that, hey, yes, we have a strong founder, but we also have influencers that shine a light on maybe something I'm not discussing, or just give it in a different says the messaging in a different way that really you know just resonates with the target audience. So Kevin videos definitely work in this light, in this situation. You can see here he uses props, he uses bold language and fonts so that you can kind of follow them, hooks them pretty quickly. The videos are less than a minute. I think this one goes into Build Club, right? Um,
Yes.
so that's another one of my clients that's a top performer. Also a CEO that's very strong and has great messaging. But nonetheless, Kevin does a great job at just channeling and giving that information in a different way that we see direct influence come from, and direct investments in this case that we're able to track.
And the Build Club sold out at the level their audit allowed for. Many of these audits, it's around 1.235 million, and has extended in path to the full 5. So seeing steady conversions from that. And another example where the CEO, Stephen Forte, has been on my podcast as well. Very strong presenter, looking for more people to be talking about what they do, and seeing the performance, seeing the results with it. Janette, can you ever have enough social proof?
No, social proof is endless. You want as much social proof as you can. Your brand, you know, will never have too much social proof. So just having that third party validation, whether it is from influencers like Kevin, or it's a magazine publication, or if it's you on a podcast and it's repurposed to their audience. Social proof is comes in various forms, and you want as much of it as you can. It just really creates trust, as you were mentioning from the book Sapien. If you hear stuff over and over, you see it, you really can't turn away from it. So if you see it on this podcast and you go and see it in Forbes, and then you go and see a Kevin ad, and then you see the CEO at a conference, you definitely can't say that this brand isn't great, or it's not doing these things, because you see it everywhere you turn. So social proof is necessary, and you want as much of it as you can.
And I've read up on social dynamics. There's games in social settings, such as the 3-second rule, where you want to be in a new conversation in less than 3 seconds from the moment that you enter till the moment that you leave. And what that does is presents to everyone else in the room, in the venue, that you are socially accepted, and it gives off a sensation that you know everybody there. Where if you're hiding out in the corner, just talking to one person the whole time. It can have a counter effect and even um, give you a disposition, a disposition when speaking to someone new there. You want to demonstrate to the world, let alone your target audiences, that other people are talking about you. Other people are ecstatic about what you do, about the investment opportunity, about the growth of the organization. Mentioned it a bit earlier. People do not believe what they see online. Every day we're presented with scams, fake news, all different types of things that are tough to believe at best. So it goes a long way to have as featured by logos, lead investor testimonials, reviews, lead investor video pieces, and asking the hard hitting questions. Why did you invest? Why did this make sense? Among other opportunities. Being able to talk about customers, being able to talk about clients, logos, just the more of it, the more believable you are. The more believable you are, the more the audience may be able to trust you. The more they may be able to trust you, they may be able to envision partnering with you by buying your shares in your organization. I've seen offering pages presented to me uh, with statements such as advertising doesn't work. We've tried ads, and I look at their deal, and that there's not a single shred of social proof on their offering page. And you can manufacture this. You can do a press release and get into syndication. You can buy press activations, and all media publishers sell. So you could buy features in email newsletters. You can buy features as articles living on major media websites and apps. You could buy them on a more performance basis across content aggregation platforms such as Apple News and other places that people read daily. I read daily on Apple News. You can really go to great lengths to show up at conferences, podcasts. There's podcast booking services that'll get you on, 4 more podcasts a month for a low rate. So there's no excuse to not have social proof. There is no reason to sell yourself short and not have regular announcements of new third-party validation hitting the market. And this is where you can be doing outreach. I talked about paid placements. Some of them will come back with that, but organic uh, is something you could achieve with the right outreach. Janette, what's a good content creation strategy?
Doing it all.
Yes.
Laying it out for the land. So here I know it talks about friends and family to clients and vendors. So you really want to, as you were saying, pools, right? You have pools of friends, pools of family, pools of clients, pools of vendors. If your raise is already live, maybe top investors, right? So you really want to have messaging and almost a strategy for each audience. So obviously, friends and family, it's maybe more casual, having phone conversations with them. Everybody else, organic content, making sure that you're talking about your key points, um, and not only just educating but showing the opportunity at hand. This is giving a 90-day campaign, so you really want to structure it out what your first month looks like. The second month usually is a little bit slower, so what sort of messaging or influencers or social proof can you get in that second month to really get you to that final month where, in this case would maybe be urgency, where your messaging is a little bit different, that can kind of give people um, that final nudge of, hey, let's get involved. Your opportunity is coming to an end. So yeah, it's really just about understanding each audience and each group that you are looking to connect with, and then building a campaign from there.
Absolutely. And look at this. This is a great page. Look at the design. You got different influencers from different content verticals talking about a deal. And it just feels very authentic, very organic for the end audience. I want to point out Every issuer should do this. I don't care whether you have the budget to work with 90 paid influencers or whether you're getting 90 people in your community to talk about you. Envision a calendar where for the first 3 months, every day, somebody new is talking about you on social media, over email, as a text blast and thread, maybe all repurposed across social, and tagging you. So there's a lot that is going into the social algorithm to uh, demonstrate authority to the social platforms. But I really mean that. So 90 days. If we were running a campaign for DNA, we worked with over 800 brands. If we had a different client post about us every day, have hundreds of strategic partners who have actively referred us business, different referral partner posting about us every day. Part of the Crowdfunding Professionals Association board, over 20 board members there. Part of the Forbes Agency Council, can talk to other Forbes Agency Council members that, reach out to create content together. We're part of the Inc. 5000, part of different accelerators here in Los Angeles. Live in Marina Del Rey, been here for over 10 years. I know a good amount of people in the community just saying hi when walking down the street. And, some of them I've golfed with, we've gone to dinner with others, my friends, my family, people I went to school with, people I worked with at past jobs, people that have introduced themselves to me at events, and I have event lists. I am not particularly popular. I'm just mentioning all of the people that I would make sure I reach out to, that as my warm audience, that as my foundation to be able to promote what we do. And to do so, I would do it, from the from just full transparency. I was going to say from the bottom of my heart. I don't know if that sounds a little cheesy, but I would try to be as sincere as possible and say, hey, we're running an equity crowdfunding campaign. Are you familiar with those campaigns? This is what they are. They're really based on social dynamics. So I would ask you, I'm asking everyone in my network, all my friends, to back the campaign at any level. We have a $300 minimum, and to share with everyone that you want to invest more. We have people putting in 10 grand, 100 grand. Fantastic. I could tell you more about the business opportunity, but if I'm able to bring 100 people at $1,000 average, taking into account some of the larger investors and the smaller investors, we have 100K right out of the gate. If I'm able to bring 500 people, we have 500,000 right day one, week one. We're going to be featured as a top campaign. We're going to be showing up on key positions of the portal's site. We're going to be talked about more by analytics platforms in the industry, such as King's Crowd. We're going to be able to drive new people from ads, from outreach to the offering. They're going to see all this momentum, and it's going to position us more for success. So, have a bit of fear. What if I'm not able to do this to a great enough extent? And it goes against some of the investor conversations I'm having offline and all the traction we're seeing B2B offline. Is this something that, I could get you set up on? I could walk you through the process. Can I count on you here? If I have, as crazy as this may sound, 500 of those conversations, and I'm able to get 100 people to do it, I'm in a good place. 500 conversations isn't a lot. I mean, talk to anyone who cold calls or anything like that for a living. It's been done in a day before. I could tell you the mathematic breakdowns, but 50 a day, 100 a day, these are doable numbers. 50 a day, over 5 hours, 10 an hour, making these calls. Sure, maybe some of them take longer, but they're probably more likely to invest at a higher level if they do. Some of them don't pick up if it averages out to these numbers, and you're doing it over 10 days, 2 business weeks. That's no problem. The platforms give you a pre-launch period. whatever it may be. And then I would look to coordinate everyone's posts. So, hey, we're going live on April 1st. I already have posts for the first week. Could you post on April 8th? I could give you images. I could give you copy, whatever you'd like. Would love it if it was just a video, just a 30-second on the business, the team, the investment opportunity, and a recommendation, sharing these two requests back at any level, share with everyone you know. And if that happens for 90 days, even if it's just people around the block here, not even a parent yet, even if it's, other parents in your child's little league, whatever it is, posting about it, talking about it, it's going to do a lot more good than doing nothing. It's going to encourage others to post about you. It's going to make it feel like everyone is talking about you. So whether they're top tier publishers and you have 90 of them over 90 days, whether they're people on the block, any blend of any level in between, you have no reason not to be doing strategic outreach to get many people posting about you and a consistent organization, a consistent schedule around it. It's a newer tactic. We haven't talked about that in a formal sense on these webinars. So really, really recommend that you integrate into your own campaign. How can you find influencers, Janette? How can you find more people? Once you've already taken care of everyone you've ever met, which is a large list, how can you look to bring more people to talk about you, especially those with a sizable responsive audience?
Yeah. So I feel like, excuse me, we're just now in a digital economy. So, Instagram, I think, and Facebook, they've been around 10, 15 years now. So I feel like there's so many influencers and so many people that you can reach out to. It's like throw a rock, hit an influencer. You're at the mall, somebody's probably an influencer there. But the good thing is the internet makes it easy to find these influencers. So there's different tools, different websites. I know we've used something like Collabster, I believe BuzzSumo, Rad AI are here as different tools that actually gives you a list of different influencers based off of topics, size, price, that you can reach out to. So even if you don't know somebody directly, or even if you're not wanting to DM people directly from your own brand profile, there are sites tailored to looking for influencers that do just that. Talk about your campaign, talk about your brand, talk about your product. Um, you know, if you are a restaurant, talk about your food, whatever it is, there's a niche and an influencer that you can reach out to. Obviously, there's different sizes, and they range from nano, which are the smaller, micro, 10,000 and less, to upwards of celebrities, with millions of followers. And obviously, with those different blends, there's different price points. These are more pay to play type of situations, but nonetheless, you can reach out to them, give them your brand assets, and they create a quality message and campaign that you are then able to, repurpose for ads, repurpose for organic content, maybe, embed it in one of your email posts, which I think we're going to talk about a little bit later. But yeah, these are just some of the different tools here where you're not only able to reach out to these influencers, but then you're also able to see analytics wise and data wise what kind of works best for you and your offering.
Absolutely. Still a numbers game. Wouldn't put all of your eggs in one basket for one influencer. Should mention Rad AI. We've worked with them since 2018. They have Reg CFs that are doing very well this year, and they take their own medicine. It's no accident that they're featured by different financial publishers on a weekly, if not more frequent basis, and different types of influencers. Jeremy Barnett, their CEO, is an excellent marketer, and I don't say that lightly. So golfer, excellent marketer, but highly recommend their platform. Some very unique tools there in the incorporation of AI and how you're reaching influencers and creating the content off of it. They're endless platforms to be able to find the right individuals here. Here's an example from the first Regulation A campaign we worked on for Rayton Solar. Start engine, um, talking back in January of 2017, test waters, late 2016. Not going to watch the whole video or anything like that here, but you can see this feels like Bill Nye the Science Guy's television program, shows the team, numbers, stats, recommendations around the technology. And when you hear Bill talk about how the product is revolutionary, it resonates. It appears to be more credible than just the client, just the team talking about it. This is a repurpose from futurism. You got the CEO talking there. And we used this not only in the offering page, not only in content. Bill posted about it a couple times throughout the campaign. We saw a spike of investments in 24 hours, 24-hour windows from when those posts took place. But we saw we saw conversions in the test waters and the 12 months of the live Reg A. There was months where the ads performed to a lower degree. There was some political backlash, a lot of comments. Reputation management was a heavy component here, but this ad was a major part of the strategy. Ads produced over 4.2 million in investments, and ads featuring Bill being the primaries there. There was also Kathy Ireland. There was other influencers featured in video ads. There was other types of content created, other videos. But one of the main attributable factors of the success of the campaign was using Bill in the content, in the ads. Strong ad return, but part of the advertising execution, part of the creative there. Do you see a lot of different packages and opportunities, Janette, when you're speaking with influencers here in 2024?
Definitely. As I was mentioning, times have evolved, and, being a content creator is a full-time job. So it's not going to be a surprise when you reach out to somebody. There's a rate card, there's different options, different tiers, whether that's them creating just, an ad that you're able to utilize, whether, whatever they're creating, you're able to repurpose on your organic post, whether you're looking to tap into their direct audience, depending on what their audience size is. I know we've talked about smaller influencers ranging up to, the larger celebrity style influencers. But yes, things do cost, but at the end of the day, that social proof is very beneficial. It's going to help your campaign at the end of the day. And there's no guarantees, but we've definitely seen you know it be very beneficial for some of our top campaigns. And definitely want to lean into it as much as you can.
Absolutely. And if you're not working with an agency, if you're not working with the marketing consultant, notice how I'm saying third party. There's a reason agencies and consultants exist. You want to be out of your own echo chamber. You don't want to be just relying on what's happening internally. I don't care if we have the best marketer internally. And this is a stance I've taken more over the past year or two, where before it was however you do the marketing. And I still recommend that. I'm still open to that, but why not? If your marketing is really succeeding, hire a consultant for a low price tag to review what you're doing weekly. Have them look at these offerings and look to negotiate. Maybe not tear apart the price, maybe ask for more added value. You want to get the influencers excited about you. You want them to be talking about what you're doing in the most optimal way, with nothing in the background from a tough negotiation conversation. But there are ways to approach this that work very well. There are ways to look at frequency and retargeting and whitelisting and running ads from their pages and having an audience share so you can run retargeting from your pages, from the influencer posts, and analytics sharing that sets the campaign up for success, and repeat activations with them. Being able to tell that story and being able to have enough influencers in the campaign to have conclusive data, in contrast, in comparing one activation to the next, with some of the same components outside of the variables, day and time of week as an example, to be able to see where you're actually getting the best performance from. But yes, would look to incorporate some third parties on this. Either way, make sure you're setting the campaign up for success by planning. And if you haven't put together a full marketing strategy yet, watch our webinar from last month about strategy. At a minimum, have some KPIs, some key performance indicators, and some actual metrics and benchmarks that you want to hit. Communicate those with your content partner and build a strategy to achieve that. Don't talk about it later and say you were hoping to see more. What do you know? There's a page on whitelisting and advertising. Janette, what is whitelisting?
What is whitelisting? So as you were mentioning, and as we kind of discussed in the past page, it's an option where the influencer creates the message, creates the video asset, and then they're actually running it from their page. So it's organic to their page, but obviously you're paying them for it. So it is considered whitelisting, just to tap into their audience. Whereas, kind of prior to this, we were discussing them creating the ad and you running it as a paid placement, or you running it on your own personal audiences and channels. This is directly to their audience, tapping a whole other outlet. And, it's just really getting endorsed 100% by this influencer.
Exactly. I've seen whitelisting put into a deal as added value with an influencer. I've seen platforms that connect you with the right pages to run whitelist ads from. I've seen products, and if you're an e-commerce advertiser, boy, am I a ideal target audience for you. I subscribe to more subscriptions than I'm comfortable sharing. Many of them I've canceled at this point. Many of them I let run for way too long before canceling. There was one, it's a keto shot and it gives you energy. It's an alternative to caffeine. And I saw the ad run from over 11 influencers pages, and each with their own video talking about the product, professionally designed, but just done very well. And I'm a fan of good marketing. When I see good marketing, I end up converting quite a bit. So if you have my email address and add me to your custom audience on your ad targeting, it's probably a good hack. But either way, this can be a way to see a lift in advertising performance beyond what you're seeing from your own brand page, and it is something that is accomplished through strategic outreach and strategic conversation at that. The importance of repetition and source diversity. Consistency could be a key to life, sports. Countless different activities, and advertising being at the top of that list. Seeing the same content can get stale for potential users, investors. The more often a message is heard from a variety of sources, the more likely it is to be believed by the audience. Sounds familiar? Almost like we mentioned it at the beginning of the webinar, quoted from Sapiens. 92% of consumers feel hesitant to buy when there are no customer reviews available. Back to social proof. 88% of Gen Zs and millennials use social media to research products they're interested in buying. As Janette mentioned, they're going on TikTok and researching, not just watching crazy dance moves. 79% of consumers have watched a video testimonial to learn more about a brand or product, including me, as I disclosed, I divulged in my last statement there. And it's the follow-up. It's the follow-up. It's the follow-up. I used to show a graph that showed how many times a sales rep follows up. Now you'd envision B2B, but it could be B2C, it could be the car salesman, it could be, the insurance salesman, whomever. But most sales reps don't follow up more than once. There's only less than 10% that follow up more than 5 times. Meanwhile, the majority of sales take place between the 7th and 12th touch point. There's a reverse there. Now, if you're following up saying, how about now? Hey, how about now? Hey, it's a new week. How about now? You're not going to get too far. Maybe it's soft selling, maybe it's part of your sales style, but if you're following up with new, exciting content, information, updates, educational pieces, data that those individuals can get immediate value from and use in their own conversations on a daily basis, you're going to be in a better place. Advertising, it's all in the retargeting. It's all about touch point 7, touch point 17. I get weary when I hear about marketing activations, which are a one-time rollout. In conjunction with retargeting, they could work, but you want to have an analytic platform that's ready to measure view-through conversions, not just click-through conversions, and in a short enough period of time and in conjunction with other channels, so you can attribute what's coming from where. But that's the importance of repetition and source diversity there. We expect campaigns that have been live for longer to perform better over time as a rule of thumb because of this. Email outreach, best practices, and KPIs. Janette, what is email outreach all about? I mean, it sounds self-explanatory, but what does it consist of?
Yeah. Email outreach is another strategy and tool that we utilize. Everybody uses email, as you can see here, 4 billion daily email users. So really, for us personally, we use, we are targeting various investor audiences. So whether you're a tech company, we are looking for tech accredited investors. We really create different databases and target them from there. But really, email outreach is educational. It's short and to the point, to promote your offering and get people involved. Really having them, you know, understand what's going on, but having a clear call to action to either get them to your raise page, get them to sign up for, a webinar, whatever that may be. Um, you know, Email outreach is just another tool, as you were saying previously, just in repetition, another piece to really inform, and tap into your target audience.
That's correct. And I go over some metrics here in an upcoming page, but essentially, email is still a top form of digital communication, if not the top. You have all of these other channels and platforms and amazing technologies, but email, 90s, still rocking. I don't want to overhype it. You're going to have to send out a significant amount of emails to get any type of results at scale. We're going to talk about some of the metrics for open rates and response rates, but you should be thinking hundreds of thousands, millions, 10,000, sure, but just you're going to need a lot more of it over time. Even from people that uh, you don't want to think that you're ever going to get 100% open rate, let alone response rate. So target potential investors, customers through a series of educational and promotional emails, giving value all the way through. Drip sequence of at least 3 to 4 emails, 7 or more is great. Is used to gradually introduce the audience to the opportunity. 4 billion daily email users out there, half the world apparently. 37% of brands are increasing their email budget, even though by many respects it's outdated technology, and platforms like Slack, which we use, would tell you need to get out of email. But it's not as simple as, hey, I have an investor email list, I'm going to see performance, but it should be incorporated for your strategic outreach. Be clear, concise, make it easy for people to know what you want them to do. Each email should include clear calls to action, direct recipients to further information on your website, your offering page, your social channels, your investment pages. Uh, People don't read long templated emails that feel like spam. They want to at least be unsure whether you wrote this or whether it was spam. They also don't want to have any hunch that it's from AI. You're going to use AI, make sure it's not noticeable. That's a bad execution of AI if someone knows you used AI. So don't just put your email through AI and think it's better. You could look at email newsletters, but people don't really respond to email newsletters the same way that they would from a direct email. I could tell you, we run an email newsletter. I send email outreach. My email outreach response rates are much higher. If you're doing this to cold audiences, you're going to want to run it by legal. Make sure what you're doing is compliant and that you understand spam law, as well as if it's an investment crowdfunding campaign, securities law. You may need to have some type of unsubscribe button at the bottom of it. You likely, if doing this at scale, want to set up a new email server so it doesn't affect your current email box. If you're just going after, a few hundred influencers versus tens of thousands of investors, you may be able to do from your primary email box. If you're getting a high response rate, you don't fear that you're being sent to spam or being reported as spam, you can do that there. But yeah, there's platforms like Apollo, Hunter, long list of platforms that you can get email lists for investors, for businesses. Businesses are much easier. And test, optimize, scale. Don't think just doing this is going to work. It should be in conjunction with the full content strategy. You should be pointing at Bill Nye talking about your brand, not just yourself reaching out to get an investment. You don't want to appear that you're doing this on a shoestring budget. You want to make it sound like there's so much momentum about you. You're taking the time to write them directly, but that you have a sophisticated marketing campaign that is running. What does the sequence look like, Janette?
So, it could vary depending on what is going on with your campaign, but generally, it's a sequence of about 3 to 4 different emails. So, once somebody signs up to be included in your email audience, or if you are doing cold outreach, either way, I guess, 3 to 4 emails. So, the first one, thanks for joining, some key highlights and opportunities. As you're mentioning, you don't want it to feel too long and spammy, so it is kind of short and to the point. We are all consumers of emails, so just think of what you want to come across, what really stands out to you, whether that be certain headlines that really resonate with you. um, just really easily digestible information. The second email, in this case, we're crowdfunding, so we want to talk about the different problems at hand, the market size of that, and then what your solution is, and kind of that value proposition. Email 3 in this case could be social proof, which we've talked lots about, but incorporating that as well as any differentiators to really get people to either go to your raise page, learn more, go to your social channels, sign up. Um, but it could be a mix of these 3 emails, possibly adding one more, depending on different milestones and highlights that you have going on at your company.
Well said. And it could be difficult to determine, what email 4, what email 7, what email 17 looks like. But again, it's all in that follow-up. And KPIs for email outreach, cold could be 10 to 20%, 20% or higher. For warm audiences, everyone claims, hey, I got 40% on this or whatever it is. It can be tough to do consistently, but not uncommon to see 40% on every email for some companies. Click-through rates, 2 to 5%. If it's lower, you definitely want to strengthen the call to action. If it's higher, you want to gauge the quality and look to do a lot more of it. Lower rates may indicate a need to revise the email's headline or content to better engage that audience. Leveraging LinkedIn and other platforms. I love LinkedIn. It's a growth hacker's paradise. Engagement should not be limited to email. Don't worry about what you think about LinkedIn. LinkedIn has a massive daily active user audience pool. Their user base beyond that, it's for many verticals, the directory. So incorporating LinkedIn and PR tools can significantly expand reach and effectiveness. Customizing messages and follow-up sequences based on the recipient's interest or industry can lead to higher engagement. So basically, you can look for a 20% or higher acceptance rate from invitations that you send out to LinkedIn. And you can reach the exact individuals at the exact investment bank, the exact company you want to reach. You could have it geo-targeted, so you're only looking for those companies in your zip code. Proximity has power to it. Sending invitations, 20% or higher acceptance rate, in many cases 40% or higher. Send messages by message 3, 20% or higher response rate, in many cases over 40%. So LinkedIn will allow any profile, for the most part, to send 25 plus invitations per day. Once warmed up, you probably get to 39, 40 invitations per day per profile. It's 150, 200 invitations per week. Did I get that right? 125, 5 at 25 to 200 invitations per week. And that sets you up to have new contacts added daily from your exact target audiences, new conversations. It just goes on and on and on from there. It's invaluable for reaching specific audiences, including individual investors, group investors, brands, all different types of strategic partners, publishers. You can then take this to other PR platforms, like help a reporter out, message them on there, email them using the email information you get from Apollo. You can have a multi-prong, multi-channel approach here. Have some different PR examples with EarthGrid and with Veer and with Aberdeen and different press they were able to win accordingly. And Janette, we got a couple minutes left. What would you like to end with in terms of quality versus quantity, and then final recommendations from there?
Yeah, definitely. Well, I think quality versus quantity kind of speaks for itself. You do want the masses, but at the end of the day, you want them to convert. So you want those quality leads. So you really want to make sure that you're strategic in targeting the right audience that's actually going to invest in your company, buy your products, and support you. As you were mentioning, you can get a high amount of click-throughs or a lot of traffic, but sometimes, that could be something that you need to optimize, because a lot doesn't always necessarily mean that they're converting. So you just really want to make sure that you're watching those analytics, talking to these leads, and making sure that you really are, gravitating and capturing the audience that is right for you at the time, and really getting that call to action, in this case, investments. So yeah, quality is definitely something that you want versus quantity.
Absolutely. And we got Ron Burgundy here saying the same thing. Quality is kind of a big deal around here. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to us directly over LinkedIn. Would recommend connecting with Janette, connecting with myself, sending over messages. You could do the same through our website. Appreciate everybody for tuning in today and listening to our findings, our content, our recommendations. It is a pleasure. We look at it as a duty to share what we're seeing across 40 plus campaigns at any given time. And don't be bashful. Feel free to get in contact with us. We could share notes. We welcome a warm marketing conversation anytime. Start outreaching more, start outreaching more intelligently, build more partnerships, build more investors, have more people talking about what you're doing on a more regular basis. Please, please, please take today's actions into account and activate in your own strategy.
Well said, Jason. Thank you for having me. I'm on LinkedIn, Janette Cornish.
Thanks, everybody. Appreciate you tuning in. We'll see you next time. Take care.
Yeah.